Eduardo Arsenault is a cryptozoologist, whose specialty is studying the rake. The rake, a hairless albino cryptid known for its sharp teeth, huge rake-like hands, and incredibly sharp claws. It is also known for its extremely aggressive behavior towards humans, and has been documented as entering homes and bedrooms to kill. Arsenault's research is controversial, as he claims the rake is actually a subterranean dweller whose natural habitat is caves and fissures beneath the earth. But, as noted above, they can enter human abodes, homes, and buildings to carry out their depredations. As evidence of some of his conclusions, Arsenault cites the following message he received from a young man who is currently being victimized by the rake. Arsenault quotes the young man's statement as follows, quote, "I live in a major urban center and work out of corporate headquarters, which has a high-rise office complex in the downtown business district. After 2 years of working mainly from home, staff is beginning to trickle back to the office. I was an early arrival and loved it. Loved having most of the office all to myself, especially the underground parking lot. I could park anywhere and usually got a spot near the elevator. But as time has gone by, I've lost a bit of my privileged status, and now sometimes I need to park some distance, say 100 meters, from the elevator. I know, what hardship. First world problems, eh? But it has proved to be exactly that, a hardship, and in a way I could never have imagined, which is why I need your help. For the past month or so, I've been working late, several nights a week. I'm project manager on a suburban apartment development, and we're working to tight deadlines. As a result, I'm often one of the last people to leave and have to walk through the empty parking lot. It's spooky, and I found myself starting to get creeped out. You see, there were noises. The sound of light footsteps, of something moving about down on the lower level. The garage has 2 levels. Something moving quietly, as if they were sneaking about. But I could also hear something faintly scratching or clacking against the bare concrete. Claws? I walked over to the top of the ramp leading down to the lower level to see if I could find out what was going on. But nothing. I could see a few parked cars and a dumpster in one corner, but most of the level lay in relative shadow. I called out, "Hello? Hello?" and saw a flash of white, of something moving close to the ground, its claws raking the cement, the noise echoing through the garage. What the hell was that? Was it a dog? Was there a dog in here? Now, we had security in the building who were supposed to monitor the various sections via a bank of cameras, but I'd long suspected they were too busy staring at their phones to be watching the surveillance screens. I went back upstairs and told the guard in the lobby what I had seen. He said he'd dispatched someone to have a look, but I doubt he did. In any event, I never heard any more about the incident. A few nights later, I once again stayed late, and it was after 10 before I started for home. Once again, I had to walk through the empty parking lot, but this time, several of the lights near the elevator, hell, several of the lights on the way to my car seemed to be burned out, making the garage even gloomier than usual. If that was possible. The corner with my vehicle seemed especially dark, and it probably didn't help that I owned a black Nissan Rogue. I was just getting into the car when I heard the shriek. I swiveled my head, and coming up the ramp from the lower level was the same white thing or dog or whatever I'd seen before. It was white and running on all fours, and now I could see that it wasn't a dog or an animal, but a human, or at least a humanoid. It was all white, chalky white, hairless, with those flashing red eyes and those hands, those claws. I could imagine what they would do to the rogue's paint, let alone what they could do to human flesh. I jumped in and backed screeching out of the parking stall, then made like a bat out of hell for the exit, with the white thing right behind me, screeching louder than the noise from my tires. I wondered wildly if the fools who were supposed to be providing security were watching this on camera and calling the police or something. But I doubted it. They were no doubt glued to their phones. I hit the streets at high speed and didn't slow down until I had to slam on the brakes for a red light. Only then I could breathe a sigh of relief and... Oh my God! My God! The white thing, the white humanoid thing, was sitting in the back seat. I don't know if it was leering at me or not, as its eyes were just a pair of glowing red lights, like the eyes of some enormous fruit fly. But it wasn't just the eyes that arrested my attention. It was the huge clawed hands, like enormous garden rakes, the sharpened fingernails actually tearing into the upholstery. I somehow managed to get over to the curb without crashing the car. I'd pulled up by a subway station, and I was out of the Rogue and running for the stairs instantly. I managed to dive into the last subway car just before the train pulled out of the station, and the white thing, the monster, whatever, chased me down the platform, scampering on all fours like a wolf or a werewolf. As you may imagine, I was in a state of shock. I reeled and collapsed onto a seat facing the window, through which the thing, the monster, could be clearly seen. But then I noticed an even stranger thing. While a number of the other passengers were openly staring at me, none of them, appeared to notice the white monstrosity running alongside the train. Was I the only one able to see it? Was this some weird hallucination? Is that why the security guards never saw anything? Gosh, I must be working too damn hard. I got off the subway a block from my apartment and walked home unmolested. The only thing I noticed that was at all unusual was how quiet it had all become. I was the only one who had gotten off the train, and I found the street deserted. There wasn't even any traffic. When I got home, I poured myself a stiff drink and was pouring it down my throat when I heard a noise coming from my bedroom. I crept down the hall, then slowly pushed open my bedroom door. It was sitting at the end of my bed, a hairless albino thing with glowing pinkish red eyes, flashing its sharp teeth and waving its huge rake-like claws. And there it sat all night. And it sits there still. It sits there all night long. It never tries to molest me, just watches me as I sleep, but that's not all. It sits in my passenger seat when I drive to work and crouches by my desk at the office. But no one else can see it. Just me, crouching there, staring at me. Am I going mad? From what I've been able to learn from the net, this must be the rake. Well, you're a rake expert. Is it a thing of flesh and blood, or is it some kind of ghost? And how do I get rid of it? Please help. Arsenault concludes, this being is clearly the rake. The white, albino, hairless body, the flashing red eyes, the huge clawed hands, and the unearthly shrieks are a perfect description of the rake in its aggressive behavior. The rake is well known for penetrating homes and bedrooms and has been known to stare voyeuristically at sleeping persons before waking and attacking them. Sometimes it even speaks in a shrill, unintelligible voice. As I believe it to be an underground dweller, I'm not surprised that the victim initially encountered it in an underground space, namely the garage of the office building. But as to the question of it being a paranormal as opposed to a flesh and blood entity, more data is required. Alas, in this case, I fear the young man is headed for mental collapse. If not, doom. Warren here. So Arsenault thinks our hero is doomed. But what do you think, dear listeners? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And stay safe, stay subscribed, ring the bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and feel free to share this video and any of my videos with anyone you please. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the night floaters, werewolves, and the black-eyed children, and now, of course, the rake. So again, please consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,500 subs in 2022. Till midnight. Cheers. Pictures used today, courtesy of Pix here. That's PX here. While the music was The Dreadful, The Dread. The only appropriate music for a video about the rake, The Dread, by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod.